If you're wondering what Trump's new wave of tariffs actually means for the developing world, let's get straight to it. First, here's what a tariff is. It's basically a tax the US puts on stuff it buys from other countries. So, when the US slaps a 50% tariff on, say, Brazilian goods, it means anything Brazil tries to sell in the US suddenly costs a lot more. Buyers look elsewhere, and exporters in those developing countries lose out, big time. Now in 2025, Trump's administration rolled out huge tariffs. Brazil got hit with a 50% tariff. Vietnam, 20% on the low end, up to 40% for goods routed through other countries. And there's no scheduled end date. Why does this matter? Let's use Brazil as an example. Nearly 2% of its entire economy depends on exports to the US. JP Morgan says if these tariffs stick, Brazil could lose up to 1% of its GDP. That's not just numbers. That's lost jobs, shuttered factories, and less money for schools, hospitals, everything. But the impact isn't just direct. These tariffs send shockwaves through global supply chains. Imagine a factory in Vietnam makes shoes for the US. Suddenly it's hit with a 20% tariff. The factory might cut jobs or even close. The companies that make the laces, the boxes, the shipping, everyone feels the ripple. Supply chains reroute, but not smoothly. Costs go up, efficiency drops, and companies everywhere get nervous. According to the Center for Economic Policy Research, these disruptions are actually worse for the global economy than if countries just raised business taxes by the same amount. And then, there's retaliation. When the US raises tariffs, other countries hit back. US farmers, for example, get locked out of foreign markets. The International Monetary Fund found that these kinds of trade wars reduce imports more than exports, shrinking economies in the process. Let's talk catastrophic scenarios. If these tariffs stick around, here's what could happen. Brazil and Vietnam see real GDP losses. Up to 1% for Brazil, huge for a developing economy. Global South countries already struggling get squeezed as trade slows. Factories close, unemployment rises, and basic public services take a hit. Economic uncertainty goes global. When investors get nervous, currencies wobble. There's even a risk that the dollar and US Treasury markets could take a hit if foreigners stop buying US debt. And the kicker? There's little evidence that these tariffs actually help US workers in the long run. A major study found that previous tariffs did nothing for US manufacturing jobs, but foreign retaliation slammed US agriculture. So bottom line, these tariffs might raise some money for the US government, but the true cost is paid by workers and families in developing countries, and ultimately, by everyone connected to the global economy. Thanks for watching. This video was sponsored by Laprove.com, source of Nopal A. Pinole.